It was a rainy Thursday night in Toronto's Liberty Village when Daniel decided he didn't want to cook. The wind howled outside his condo, and the relentless tapping of rain on his windows made it feel like the city was mourning. Hungry, tired, and uninspired, he opened his phone and ordered a double cheeseburger meal from a local burger place through a delivery app. The order went through instantly. Daniel leaned into his couch. The glow of the TV barely lit the room, casting long shadows. He didn't remember putting on static, but that was all he heard. Just white noise. The shadows inched closer each time the screen flickered. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. Daniel walked over, expecting the usual awkward handoff from a teen delivery driver. But no one was there. Just a bag of food on the doormat, rainwater on it untouched, like time had paused for it. Weird, he thought. Most drivers at least knock twice or snap a photo. He looked down the hallway empty, not even footsteps, no voices. Just the buzz of an old ceiling light flickering near the elevator. He picked up the bag and brought it inside, shaking off the chill. The receipt stapled on top seemed normal at first. His name, his meal, the time. But at the bottom, one extra line. "Thank you for letting us in." He blinked. Was that a weird promo message? Some glitch? He laughed softly, but it didn't feel funny. He shrugged it off and took a bite of his burger. It tasted a bit strange, smokier, metallic, but edible. He looked at the receipt again. The ink seemed darker than before. A second line had appeared beneath the first. "You taste better than you think." The burger fell from his hands. He froze. No way that was there earlier. He picked up the paper again. Now it looked completely normal. His name, items, price. Nothing eerie. He rubbed his eyes and muttered, "Get a grip, man. You're tired." As he reached for his fries, the TV blacked out. Static hissed through the speakers again, but deeper this time, lower in pitch. A whisper echoed under the noise. "You opened the door." Daniel turned off the TV. Nothing changed. The voice still came through the speakers. He ripped out the power cord. Still, the hissing persisted. He stood there, frozen, breathing heavy. Then he felt it like someone was watching him from behind. He turned fast. No one. Just the dim kitchen and the reflection in the microwave door. In that reflection, something stood behind him, tall, black, grinning with too many teeth and no eyes. Daniel spun around. Nothing. When he looked back at the microwave, the reflection showed only the shadow. Not him, not the room. Just the thing smiling. He ran to the bathroom and flipped on the light. The mirror fogged slightly, though the air was cold. A wet print appeared on the glass, a handprint, wide and unnatural. Behind it, a second face began to form. It smiled slowly. It mimicked him as he blinked. Back in the living room, the paper bag moved. It tipped over. The receipt floated up into the air, like held by invisible fingers. It twirled midair, and the lights above it flickered rapidly. His phone lit up on the couch, vibrating violently. One notification. "Enjoy the meal. You're the main course." The lights shut off. The walls of his condo seemed to stretch and distort, as if the room had no true shape anymore. His couch sank into the floor like melting wax. His window cried black, tar-like fluid. It smeared upward against gravity. He tried the front door. It wouldn't budge. The lock clicked on its own. A gust of icy air pushed through the walls, and the receipt floated closer, new letters burning into it in real time. No refunds, no returns. "We live here now." Something whispered in his ear. Cold breath curled around his neck. He screamed, backing toward the bathroom, only to find the mirror glowing faintly green. Inside, the shadow's grin stretched wider. His reflection slammed its hands against the inside of the glass. Hands grabbed his ankle. He screamed. They dragged him, nails scraping the hardwood, toward the bathroom mirror. He clawed at the floor. His body twisted unnaturally as he was pulled across the condo like a doll. The reflection didn't move. With a final choking scream, Daniel was sucked into the mirror. The light vanished. The condo returned to stillness. The only sound was a slow drip black fluid leaking from the corners of every wall. 2 days later, the delivery driver returned. The app said Daniel never left a tip. Curious and annoyed, The teen knocked on the door of Unit 702. It swung open on its own. Inside, the place was empty, dusty, like no one had lived there for weeks. On the floor near the front door was a single receipt. The letters on it read, "Delivery complete. Next drop, Liberty Village, Unit 708, ETA, PM. Hope they're hungrier." Emily had always been a night owl. Working freelance from her apartment in Austin's Zilker neighborhood, she often stayed up till 2 or 3 a.m. writing code or editing videos. Her small place was tucked between townhouses and old bungalows, quiet, unassuming. That night, she had an intense craving for something sweet. It was already past 1 a.m. and most places were closed. She scrolled through a late-night delivery app until she found a ghost kitchen selling desserts. Crave Creamery. No reviews. Just a single item, Milk Sundae. She hesitated, but something about the name lured her in. The picture showed vanilla ice cream swirled with blue syrup and white chocolate stars. It looked unreal, artificial, dreamy. She ordered it anyway and went back to her editing. 15 minutes later, she got the delivery notification. Order left at your door, but when she opened it, the hallway was empty. No footsteps, no bag, no receipt. The app now glitched, flashing a message that just read, "Already inside." Confused, she shut the door and turned around. Sitting neatly on her kitchen counter was the dessert, still cold, still sealed in a to-go container with the Crave Creamery logo. Emily froze. Her front door had been locked. She hadn't left the kitchen light on either. She walked slowly toward the sundae. It looked exactly like the picture. The blue syrup shimmered as though it was glowing faintly. A small, crumpled receipt sat beneath the container. She picked it up. The paper read, "Your taste feeds us. Eat before it melts." She looked around her apartment, half expecting to find someone hiding, but everything was still, silent. The only movement was from her ceiling fan spinning lazily. She examined the sundae again. Against better judgment, she took a bite. It was incredible, like tasting a dream. As she ate, a soft hum began behind her, like distant singing. She turned the TV on to drown it out, but it wouldn't start. The screen remained black, reflecting the room behind her. But something in that reflection was off. Her reflection wasn't alone. Behind her stood another, her identical in posture, clothing, even the subtle mole above her eyebrow. But its smile was wrong, too wide, too still. Emily spun around, nothing. The apartment was empty again. Her reflection, though, remained smiling long after she stopped. She returned to the kitchen. The sundae was empty. She didn't even remember finishing it. Her phone buzzed. A new message from the delivery app. "Thank you. Your double is awake now. Keep still." She blinked. Her phone screen flickered and went black. From the corner of her eye, she saw movement. A shadow darted across the hallway mirror. She stepped toward it cautiously. Her own reflection was no longer mimicking her. It was lagging behind, blinking slower, smiling when she wasn't. Then it spoke. Without opening its mouth, the reflection whispered, "You've eaten what was meant for me. Now I get to walk." Emily backed away. The air thickened. Her feet felt glued to the floor. The lights dimmed without anyone touching a switch. The sundae container vibrated violently on the counter before exploding into shards of plastic. Blue syrup bled across the tile floor like veins, creeping toward her feet. Each time it moved, her body grew heavier, her limbs sluggish, her mouth dry. Suddenly, the mirror cracked, splitting her reflection down the center. But instead of glass behind it, a dark void swirled like tar mixed with stars. Her double stepped through. It looked like her, but its eyes were hollow, its skin too smooth, and its smile never moved. Emily screamed and ran to the door. It wouldn't open. No matter how hard she turned the lock, it stayed bolted. The walls began to ripple, like she was inside something breathing. Her double moved closer, step by slow step, barefoot, unblinking. It spoke again, this time aloud, voice syrupy sweet. "Thanks for the snack, Emily. Now it's your turn to freeze." The air dropped suddenly. Frost formed on the walls. Her breath came in clouds. Her limbs locked up as if she were turning to ice. She stumbled toward her bedroom. The mirror on the closet showed her but fading. Her skin was turning transparent, her mouth frozen mid-scream. Her double's reflection was growing more solid by the second. She managed to throw herself under the bed, barely breathing. Silence returned, but not peace. She watched the floorboards. Footsteps moved slowly across the room. Then they stopped right beside her hiding place. A voice whispered from the dark, "We only come when invited. You used the app. You chose us." A soft drip echoed beside her ear. She turned her head. Blue syrup was leaking from the mattress above, drop by drop. Eventually, she passed out from the cold. When the sun rose, her apartment looked untouched. Warm light flooded in through the windows. The bed was made, the kitchen spotless. The only thing out of place was her phone, lying on the counter with a new message. "Crave Creamery thanks you. Hope you enjoyed being scooped." Outside, a woman who looked exactly like Emily walked toward the coffee shop across the street. She wore her clothes, smiled at strangers, and ordered a mocha. But her eyes never blinked.